A movie unlike anything that you've ever seen before. I've seen the trailer and I can't wait for the movie. It's called After Death. It's taken the US by storm. It's been out in the US for a little while. Broke the record for the highest grossing faith-based documentary in history. Alongside me this morning to talk about the movie, I have the pleasure and the honor of speaking to Dr. Jeffrey Long. Good morning, Dr. Jeffrey Long. Thank you so much for taking time out to talk to me about After Death.
Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so the trailer talks about near-death experiences, and I wonder you've got a medical background, but surely to be able to go into this arena, this space, have you experienced a near-death experience, or is it somebody else that's close to you that got you that perked your interest a little bit?
Yeah, good question. Fortunately, I have never personally had a near-death experience. I got interested in this decades ago and I'm a physician, my specialty, radiation oncology, the use of radiation to treat cancer. But I was looking at a journal article related to cancer, and totally by accident, there was an article in the heading near-death experience. And decades ago, I'd never heard about this. So fascinated, I read the article. I mean, how can you not be fascinated about the question of what happens when we die? So I read my first article about near-death experience and was immediately fascinated. I mean, here were people that had cardiac arrest, their heart stopped, and I knew everything that I knew medically was that you should not possibly be able to have a conscious experience. And yet here by the dozens were people having highly lucid, organized experiences, remarkably similar in content, and I was hooked. That led me to want to learn more about this. So I set up a website devoted to the study of near-death experience. That was over 25 years ago. Since then, we've received over 4,000 near-death experiences, by far the largest data set in the world, allowing us to learn more about near-death experience than was ever possible before.
How does that compromise where you're at with your faith in any shape or form? Because often you don't, well, in this particular part of the world, faith and science tends to be a little bit of a compromise there. But over time, you've worked with near-death experiences for a long, long time. How has that impacted your faith?
Oh, that's an easy question. I mean, with over 4,000 near-death experiences with amazingly similar results, I saw over and over what I previously took on faith, but now took based on a scientific study. The core foundation of science is what's real is consistently observed. So here we are over and over, times thousands now, of near-death experiences talking about the reality of an afterlife. No question about that. We're proven the reality of an afterlife, and a wonderful afterlife beyond any shadow of a doubt. But beyond that, we've learned something about an afterlife, because over half of near-death experiences talk about that, what they've seen, what they've observed. Beauty beyond anything they knew on earth, encountering deceased loved ones, joyous reunions, that overwhelming sense of peace in that afterlife realm. One of the most common words by far used is love. They learn about that overwhelming love beyond anything that they could have known on earth. And here they are experiencing that in the afterlife, and the reality of the intelligence, the being in the afterlife. They over and over will say, God is a human word, and what I encountered is beyond human language, but that is what, for lack of a better term, is God. Does that sound familiar? Well, that's faith talking right there. So that's really, that really nails, I think, sort of the core essence, what's really important, if you will, in my faith, and certainly the faith of many other people that have studied near-death experiences.
Just to take that one step further, you're a medical professional. How do you differentiate between the near-death experience and what some may call an altered state of consciousness?
Yeah, that's real easy. There's different types of altered states of consciousness. For example, there's hallucinations. Well, hallucinations are like dreams. They have unreal content. They skip all over like dreams. You tend not to remember them real well, and they're generally recognized by people that awaken and recover, if you will, from hallucination, that it wasn't real. Completely opposite with near-death experiences. The elements or characteristics. What happens typically very consistently observed and typically in consistent order. There's essentially never skipping around, and near-death experiences are remembered far more lucidly than other life events going around that time of the near-death experience almost uniformly. So the near-death experience is nothing like hallucinations. Dreams, well, we're all familiar, nearly all of us familiar with dreams. Well, heck, that was one of the original survey questions I asked over 25 years ago. Is your experience dreamlike in any way? Looking for any connection between dreams that are so familiar to people and their near-death experience. So asking a large number of near-death experiencers, I was embarrassed. Over and over, I kept hearing, no, not dreamlike. Are you kidding? What's wrong with you, Dr. Long? And so embarrassed, I stopped asking that question. So suffice it to say, they're not dreamlike in any way.
I just mentioned before we came on about the impact that the movie After Death has had in US cinemas, and it's incredible how people have received it. Do you know, can you speak to the feedback that people who have not experienced near-death experiences have commented about the film?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank goodness, at least in America, actually, there's also an Australian survey that estimated around 5% of the population had a prior history of a near-death experience. So they're not rare. And in both of our countries, literally millions of people have had that, Australia, United States, New Zealand. So it's fairly common. However, the great majority of people obviously seeing the movie have never had a personal near-death experience. And the feedback, I mean, they're just in awe. Here over and over is that science that underlies their faith more vividly portrayed. Beautiful movie, by the way, unbelievably good graphics and music. But beyond that, there's that deeper reality. People over and over have that gripping sense of reality from people that had the near-death experience, from researchers like me. I'm in the movie too. And oftentimes at the end of the movie, they'll just sit there in awe, thinking about how that movie is going to impact their life, their relationships. It seems to change people. They really understand the importance of love, family, and literally of faith. So it's really for so many people that see it, it touches them that deeply, and it's a real game changer and some positive changes in their life.
What has been, you're saying over 4,000 cases of people who experienced near-death experience, and there's a common thread of love and God throughout that experience.
People can encounter God in near-death experiences regardless of their prior belief system or lack of belief system. And that's what's so fascinating to me. People will, from all backgrounds, will encounter God, describe God very similar. Most common description is light. Don't forget, God is in an unearthly, non-physical realm in near-death experiences, so maybe light only, maybe appear sort of amorphous. May appear in a wide variety of different ways, but literally God manifesting God's infinite ability to appear to the near-death experiencer in the way that's best. So, but the overwhelming things we hear when they encounter God is that overwhelming sense of love. Number one descriptor near-death experiences use their love for who they are, everything they are, all that they are, through and completely. As I've said, that's something that it typically is beyond anything they could have even conceived of on Earth. Beyond that, they realize that God's got an overwhelming intelligence. They use the term creator quite often. They often feel sort of a connection to God, not surprising. If you go to the dictionary and look up love, a connection is a dictionary definition of love, and sort of that's a super love. And over, they'll describe, importantly, when they encounter God, that they're not judged. It's not a matter of God looking back at them, questioning them, why did you do this? Why did you not do this with your life? It seems to be an overwhelming presence of acceptance when they encounter God. And gosh, you know, I've done some things I'm not proud of in my life, so I can tell you I found that reassuring.
You're talking about the benefits of having or experiencing an NDE, a near-death experience. But have there been any challenges around your experience?
Okay. Yeah, it's unethical and immoral to induce a life-threatening event in the hopes you'll have a near-death experience. Of note, only about 10 to 20% of people that have a close brush with death will actually have a near-death experience. So you're never going to see that by any researcher at all.
What would you like people to walk away with after seeing After Death?
I think they need to go away with, as so many other people, and personally myself, with that profound message of inspiration. I mean, hearing about the afterlife, seeing it described, beautiful graphic representation, beautiful music, that is inspiring. But above and beyond that, there's also sort of the deeper message. It's meaningful. I mean, it really helps one to grasp that there's an afterlife and it's wonderful and beautiful. But over and over, you kind of come away with that sense that, our earthly life is also meaningful. We're here for a reason. We're here to do something purposeful with our life, and we need to be thinking about that every day. So it's not threatening. It's more like a guide. It's more like a wonderful, if you will, inspirational message that goes with the movie. So between its being informative, learning about a near-death experience, and inspirational in its content about its consistent message of an afterlife and a wonderful afterlife, you really cover all the bases with near-death experiences in this movie.
We can't wait to see the movie. It's out in a couple of weeks' time. You've been very, very insightful this morning, Dr. Long, and inspirational at the same time. Wish you all the best. Take care. God bless.
God bless. Thank you.